Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing great. I was talking to a friend and I wrote down some of the points. They're having a hard time right now, and I feel like I guarantee there's a lot of people that will relate to these points. And I want to do a journey into this energy and share whatever wisdom and healing I can with whoever manages to find this video. So these were the points. She says, I'm full of anxiety. That's what I wrote down. Financial news, everything points to complete meltdown. I need a way to cope with this. So I'm going to be looking at the energies of anybody who's struggling with anxiety about the economy right now, about money, fears of the future. This is a hot topic right now. It's noticeable. It's felt. A lot of question marks, not a lot of answers. The focus is in every direction, but the one that matters most. We need the honest truth. We need to know what's going on. We need to start working with solutions instead of all these ridiculous arguments. It's arguments focused on things that are absurd in order to talk about sanity versus insanity. And it's like, and all the while, everything is collapsing around us and we're not going to talk about it and say, guess what? We all need to work together on this, and this is the truth. This is the reality that is coming. This is how much time we have to work with. So I think that definitely something is in the works that is going to be a paradigm shift, okay? I've already come to a place inside myself that, all right, this isn't the first, that there's other conversations that I've had with other people who are afraid that this doesn't have to happen. Why can't we heal the world? Why can't we stop it before it gets out of control? This could be an unfathomable new reality. Unfathomable new reality. There's a reason why I've been talking about the derailed train and the concentration camp reality and how you choose to be strong in who you are and at the heart of who you are is more important than huddling in a corner, screaming and crying and saying, make it go away. You have to really embrace the power of who you are. One of the movies I grew up watching was Rambo, and I liked Rambo. And I know when Rambo, he's in the POW camp and he takes that microphone and he tells Murdoch, I'm coming for you. Like, Rambo is hardcore. Rambo is a symbol of a strong man who is up against anything, and who can tell those people who are bought and paid for that they have to face this. They have to face this reckoning. And it's Rambo. But Rambo is the spirit of, I am a conqueror. I can withstand any circumstance and I can come through the other side to really help people. And so I see the Rambo inside myself, and I've got to be strong no matter what. I have to be strong, and I have to be a symbol of strength, and I have to be a symbol of a good human being who represents good leadership, all that stuff. So when I hear that my family, right? Because we're all brothers and sisters. So you're all my family, right? So when I hear my family say I'm full of anxiety and financial news, everything is pointing to a complete meltdown. I need a way to cope with this. What can I do to help my friend? But what can I do to help all of you? And so I'm going to relax here. And I'm going to go into a journey state, and we're just going to look at this as a concept that others in our collective are struggling with. And what can we do to bring out the Rambo in each other, right? Whatever version of Rambo you want to be, but it's like being strong inside yourself and conquering anything no matter what happens. And then it's like, yes, it's the old school concept of good over evil, but this is true. We have to bring the integrity back. We have to bring the integrity back. I actually was talking about that in that last video about the triangle, which I made a new picture because I was talking about the triangle of when society is based upon money. I was still trying to figure out, because I was talking to God, and God said, well, this would be the triangle. Do you want to change this triangle into this triangle? And I started to realize after that conversation that really it was a dimensional conversation. It wasn't a flat conversation, as though this flat image of a triangle gives us a simple idea of how a society built upon money. We have these people at the top, and then we have all this at the base. But this influences the base, right? It just trickles down from the top down to here. And then, but if we make this triangle based upon hard work, and then all the best minds, the best hearts, the best motivators, whether you're the best at teaching kids how to be playful and creative, or you're the best at inventions, it's like you're at the heart of the most genuine human beings that we have. But when this society is inspiring, all these people want to be the best people too. And so now all of a sudden, this triangle is in motion, this triangle is activated, and it becomes something like this, because there's not so many people on the bottom that don't want to be the best of the best. They're inspired to be the Rambos of the world, the strongest or the most courageous or the most passionate, the best piano players, the best inventors, the best speakers, it's philosophers, people who are just simply amazing listeners and good friends, good families, good cooks. Like, we have the best of the best of the best up here. But this triangle doesn't really exist if the base is always wanting to be at the top, right? So now the triangle is like, we have the best of the best of the best is at the top, and it's like we're always growing. We're always growing in this way of growing into being the best of the best from the heart, right? And this is all hard work. This is all a society based upon hard work. So money can be a tool when money isn't at the heart. So you can have people who have money not because they worked hard for it, but they were born into it, or they were scam artists, or they killed whoever they needed to kill, or blah, blah, blah. Here, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And so these might not be the best of the human race. I've said this about Elon Musk, for instance. Whether you like Elon Musk or you don't like Elon Musk, that's okay. But Elon Musk, I feel like, is a very good example of a human being who from morning until night, is trying from the depths of his heart to provide something of service to humanity. So money and service to humanity are working hand in hand. There's a really beautiful balance here. He's a representation of a beautiful balance. He's trying as best he knows how. This is what his heart's calling is. And you can't degrade a person for following their heart, who actually is trying to do something to help humanity. So obviously the people who don't want Elon Musk in their community are going to do whatever it takes to brainwash you into thinking he's a bad guy. But you gotta see things from the heart, right? But this is a dimensional shape to really showcase society in action. And so here we have maybe the base of society is now inspired by people that are talented, people who are motivating, people who are inspiring. I want to be better because I want to be better than them, And so we're moving up the ladder. And so now all of a sudden society becomes like this, where we have a lot of people actually up here. So the base of the pyramid's up here, and we have a lot of people inspired to be the best. And now we have fewer people that are just sitting around sleeping all day, doing nothing, and then crying in the corner when something bad happens, because they have inspiring heroes. Like people that they're looking up to and say, well, I want to be like that person. And so now the triangle starts to become dimensional and in motion, activated, and this becomes a very inspiring society right here. This is this balance right there. So I'm just going to say, I just felt inspired to say all those things, but let's get back to the point here. So I'm full of anxiety, financial news, everything points to complete meltdown. I need a way to cope with this. Okay. So I'm going to relax. I'm going to just do this journey with my eyes open. I feel like there's something nice when you can look people in the eye. And when I do a journey, usually my eyes are closed. So when my eyes are open, I can still see into the energy world. And let's see what the wisdom and the healing is. Because I don't want anybody, I don't want you, I don't want anybody, not anybody in my family. The whole world is my family. So I don't want anybody to feel full of anxiety, because we don't have to. See, we can lift each other up. Maybe I could be the top of the pyramid who just wants to keep motivating people to not be afraid. Okay, maybe that's my gift, my talent. Okay, and so then maybe somebody down, here at the base is saying, "Wow, I would like to be somebody who motivates people when they're afraid to not be afraid anymore." So then they're now inspiring to come up here, and so the top, the elites, the best human beings, because they have the best and brightest hearts and the most passionate, most inspiring, becomes a multitude. So society is always growing in this way of we're growing. In a multitude of empowerment, So I don't want to live in a new world order where we are the pyramid. This is more like this, It's like everything is going down. I have to say one more thing, okay? Because I did this really cool journey on Patreon, and it was a mystery school experience where we were exploring 5 different families of leprechauns, and they were talking about there seems to be this motivation for the death cycle. So they were talking about the life cycle, and they showcased the life cycle as a tree that had died, it fell in the woods, and how it is full of life. That dead tree is not dead at all. It's full of life. It's full of the life cycle, because the tree is abundantly giving back to the forest all the animals and creatures that exist in the forest. So the dead tree is fully alive. And it was so cool to have that perspective. Now, they were talking about this Gilgamesh type personality and how you need to continue to shine sunshine and laughter and joy at those Gilgamesh type shadows in society. And they're very infectious. They're influential. We need to go into the most darkest parts of our society and start to mend and heal them. But if we are ignoring them and walking by and we aren't doing anything to influence change, it just starts to grow. And that death cycle then wants to start to become what is the motivating factor or the tool for our society. It wants to be the new world order, is the death cycle, okay? It wants to be the new world order. So then we're going down. You can use this as a basis for how we can understand growth or destructive, growth that is creative or growth that is destructive. Elon Musk is growth that is creative. You can't argue with that. You might not like electric vehicles or whatever else, but it is growth that is creative. It is inspiring. It is trying to come up with something that is new, and we desperately need new ideas. Okay, so this is destructive. This is the nanites that we want to, the mosquito, there's all this information. Is it true? Is it not true? I don't know. But why couldn't I believe that that is true? There's a lot of freaking messed up stuff. There's a lot of sick, mad scientists out there that are getting a lot of flipping money. There's people that are getting paid to be a representation of what is going to destroy society. They're getting a lot of money. And so wherever the money is flowing, I'm often finding this wow, this person is getting a lot of payment, a lot of advertising, a lot of marketing just handed to them, because they are speaking, they are representation, they are a human advertisement of what is the motivating factor that is going to create the death cycle. Okay, so if we are going to exist in the death cycle, no wonder I'm full of anxiety, financial news, everything points to complete meltdown. I need a way to cope with this. I wrote that on the envelope. Yeah, that's from FedEx. By the way, I've got a beef with FedEx, man. I've been trying to, that's a whole other story. But I live a normal human life and I get beef with FedEx, man. Okay, so, swear to God, I'm ready now. Okay. All right, so right now I'm in the zone here and I'm just sending this information out to the universe, waiting for it to echo back so I can tell you what is being communicated with me from the universe, okay? So I'm connected to everything. You are connected to everything. You could do what I do. Everybody can do what I do. Literally, it's our most innate gift to be creative. It just comes from childhood. We all have access to this. So, okay. All right, what is the message that I can share to really help people with anxiety right now? Oh, the first thing they're reminding me of, because I was thinking about this, I re-listened to the recent video. I'll just put a link in the description if you guys want to watch it, if you hadn't. But I briefly talked about my son's fear about the computer that sings. And this was just a great achievement for humanity because they were able to build this computer and it sings. And I think he said it was in 1961, but I don't know if that date is correct or not. But anyway, I kind of trailed off there because it was really important to me to come back to fear as a parent trying to help your kids with fears, and then adults that are fearful. And it was really important that I continued on that branch of the tree because I didn't give it enough time and attention. And one of the things, the main point that I wanted to indicate, that if you are a parent with children with fear, you have to remember that you, the parent that just simply is there, is really powerful. As being a good listener, as talking about your own fears, talking about how you work through your fears, just hugging them, loving them for having the courage to even talk about their fears, because that could be a very shameful and embarrassing thing. And so you're encouraging communication with your kids. You're encouraging love. And even if you don't know what the solution is to helping them, and they don't know what the solution is, you have each other, and that already is the solution. So I'm here. I understand you. So me, I'm already a part of the solution. Just by talking about it, I'm already a part of the solution. So that's the first thing that they wanted to remind me of, which I'm really happy I got to say that. Okay. because I wanted to find a way to say that because I didn't complete that thought in that previous video. So now I'm able to complete the thought here. So number one is amongst each other. When anybody is afraid, you are simply there for them. What is the definition of a good friend? A good friend is somebody who actually, they might have a solution to your problem, that you're either able to adopt it or not adopt it, but really you need to be making decisions for yourself. We can influence each other, yes, but the decision has to come from inside of you so you don't regret, well, I did what my friend told me to and now I wish I wouldn't have done that. No, you don't want to do that. And so a friend is somebody who, yeah, you can vent and you can talk about it however you need to talk about it, but you love your friends even 10, 20 years later because they are who they are. And you love them through what they go through, and you feel sad for them for what they go through, but you can't take it away from them because only they can work through it, but you're still there. You're still there. And that's what a good friend is. It's what a good family member is. And you don't belittle your friends. You don't degrade your friends, you know? So there's kindness in the exchange. And it's time. Time is part of the exchange as well. So I'm supposed to say that next. These are basic things to talk about fear and about friendship and about love. They're telling me this is really important to the conversation. Okay. That's why. All right, so the first thing that they show me, it basically, the information right into my head, and this is what it looks like. It's basically an image that is confusing. It's kind of an oval shape. It's not quite a circle and it's not quite an oval. And there's a black line in the center, and one side is white and one side is like a hunter green color. And then the outsides are like gyrating like this, and there's a black, there's like black fire, and then that black fire is creating like hell. All right, basically that black fire is creating hell. And so when it goes in here, it's like, like wow, that's painful. That's like information representing that is painful. Okay, and so when I experience that as painful, I don't know what is painful. Does this have to do with money? Does this have to do with anxiety? Does this have to do with the future? What is this? I don't know. So that's just the first thing that comes to me. I need to just be silent so I can understand what it means, okay? What? Oh, they're saying, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And I say, I'm going to figure it out is what I'm going to do about it. They say, what, you're going to figure out hell? And I say, yeah, I'm going to figure it out. How are you going to figure out hell, Abby? I just start laughing. I was like this. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to be relaxed and I'm going to laugh about it. And we're going to have some fun figuring out hell. We're going to actually have some fun doing this. We're going to enjoy doing this. And that's like the leprechaun energy. The leprechaun energy, it finds a way to band together to be merry and to be cheerful and delightful. And to work with each other as family and to understand the balance of nature comes from the heart and comes from love. And nobody can take love from you. Only you might find yourself bewildered and depleted and deflated and all that, and you don't know where love is for you. Therefore, how are you going to be love for others? You know what love is. You know how to be love. You either choose to stand up and be love like Rambo, or you choose to just wither away in the pig slop, you know, because he has to live in that like pig poop area with all the, you know, stuff on his body, like sucking his blood and stuff. Rambo made a real impact in my life, okay? All right. So then I experience a sense of crying, and I experience a bewilderment, and I'm merry, I am powerful, I'm going to find a solution to this hell, and I actually take the shapes and I've got like a semicircle green, semicircle white. I have actually a very noticeable black line in the center. I have this fire. I say, I'm not defining this as hell. The energy defines itself as hell, but I don't choose to feel burdened by that. And so I take all this as like little cutout shapes and I start rearranging it. And I say, how can this hell be useful? How could I use this energy in a useful way? I put this energy and I give it actually to the earth. I take all the fire and then I literally plant it into the earth, and the earth absorbs it as material. It absorbs it as material that then helps the planet continue to grow. That I give it to the earth as the earth's life cycle. I give this hell to the earth as its life cycle. And once the hell is planted into the earth, not because the earth is going to be now the permanent place of hell, like you can't transmute hell. Yes, you can. We transmute hell all the time. You have a human being who is a negative person, but you hug that person, or you keep smiling, or you encourage the people around to not give in to their negativity. You're already transmuting hell. And you're guiding that person to remember not to be that representation of a human being because they are loved, or they are in a loving environment. They'll either leave it or they will start to change, okay? So I have green, white, and black line. I just toss them into the air and I have nothing to work with. And then I take out a white sheet of paper and I smooth it out, and it's huge. It's like this huge white sheet of paper, and I say, we need to come up with a new design, a new architecture, a new structure. And I say the new structure will be built from the bottom up, not from the top. This is how we will undermine this. This is when the triangle is about money, and these are the types of elites. I hate the word elite because they aren't elite. They aren't special in any way. Like Elon Musk is elite because he's trying to help the world, okay? Are you trying to help the world? Or are you just a pessimist who's conveniently saying garbage that makes you feel better about yourself because you seem to know something that was actually planted in your being by elites that don't like Elon Musk and don't want people at the bottom to like him either? So you gotta be really careful about what you understand about information, okay? That's why I was talking about brainwashing, and it's not easy to talk about it because it's hard for people to understand how they are walking advertisements of ideas that never came from inside themselves. They came from malicious and evil people that were twisted and lost, where their ego and their inner demons were guiding the shell of that body, and they were completely pixel. They were just a dot. Their soul became this, okay? Oh. That is the size of a lot of people up here. That is all that's left of their soul, because their soul's sleeping, or their soul left their body because they became too flexible, and they wanted to receive money as though money was love, but they didn't know how to understand who they were. They didn't understand how to say no. They didn't know how to. And I've witnessed that in these groups where you can see how evil is trying to take over the world. Like this is true. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't a fairy tale. There really is disturbing stuff that we all actually get to witness this. We're finally given access to this information and who these people are, where before we were just living the daily grind and we expected it to just last forever when we all knew that this wasn't sustainable anyway. So you can't deny on some level that everything that is happening is a good thing, and that the life cycle is, this death cycle is only a manipulation. It's only illusion. It's like you're going to die one day. No, you're like the tree that fell in the woods. You're a life cycle. There's no such thing as a death cycle. There's only the illusion of one. There's only the illusion of a death cycle. That's like the illusion of that money creates amazing people. That money creates a good life. I feel like the people up here that have all the money that are this big are the OP, like overpowered people, and that are afraid. They're just afraid. They're just the most insecure, the tiniest people on our planet. Their souls are lost. This soul is overtaken by their own inner demons, and their own inner demons are animated that body. And the ego and the money and all that, and the community of other insecure people, because people who are insecure surround themselves with people who are insecure, and they want to snuff out the people who are secure. So you'll see that where the money is moved in our society is going to go to what are a representation of the confusion, of the brainwashing, of the death cycle, of all the illusions, right? Because we want to amplify the sound of the illusion, amplify the sound of misinformation that actually is now the divine new truth. It's the new Bible. Because we're open-minded, and these people have been harmed over years and years and years and years. No, they haven't. They harmed themselves. This is what is getting confusing about our world. So this is just like talking about it, okay? I'm going to chill, and I'm going to continue to see, all right, what comes next. All right, so hell is something that can be transmuted. How is it transmuted? With love. Understanding that you're crafty, you're clever, and that you can move negativity into positivity. And don't forget that. The positive is more powerful than the negative. It's just like the angels are more powerful than the demons. And when we start to believe that demons are powerful, we are lost. How I like to see a demon is just a broken soul, okay? And so the broken soul is holding on to its pain and suffering. It's like a house that is broken. Would you be afraid of a broken house? No, you would not. It just needs to be repaired, right? And then once that house is repaired, it is refreshed, renewed, and it's beautiful, and it is worth embracing, and it's worth loving. It's worth even living in that house. And so a demon can be repaired, and it can be returned to its whole self. And so you don't be afraid of demons. You go in there and you heal the Gilgameshes of this world, because that's what the leprechauns were showing me about the Smurfs and Gilgamesh. And Gilgamesh needed to be healed. He didn't need to be avoided. He needed to be healed. And this is happening in our world right now, but how do we heal it? And we're still trying to talk about money, and I'm not able to really go straight into money, but this is the conversation to help alleviate the anxiety. All right, so it feels like this is what I meant to share, but I'm going to stick around for just another moment, just simply throw it out there. We're talking about anxiety. We're talking about the collapse of the economy. We're talking about, how do we cope? And I think it's kind of interesting to re-identify what the goals are, because it's already identifying that this is the future. This is what is yet to come, as though we already know that this is what is yet to come. I feel like we all have a very valid reason to feel as though great concern is on the horizon, and we aren't given the information or the feedback that we need to know that that concern is, we have a solution to it. This is the concern. They're spelling it out for us. Government is saying, you know what, this is actually something we're struggling with. This is something that is happening. No, they're not telling us that. We're having to find the breadcrumbs to create the conclusions. And it's all sort of, we're feeling this out, and we can't help but feel as though something is on the horizon, and we can't really get the feedback we need. And so we're really actually talking to each other. We're already working at what you would describe as this, it's like we're already working with each other down here, okay? We're already, like, I am actually working with you guys here. I'm actually trying to reach you, talk to you, share in this thought process, this conversation. It's just like I was saying about parents and kids with fears, but we're adults that have fears too. And so I'm just being a good friend, a good family member. I'm right now providing for you conversation. And the conversation is to remind you where the strength and the power truly lies is not the people who have the most money. There's so many of us down here, okay? There's so many. And guess what? There's so many amazing people down here. Amazing people down here. And we need to keep communicating with each other. We need to keep empowering each other. We need to keep loving each other. So my friend that inspired this conversation on my beef with FedEx letter. Anyway, so you can see how this is now finding its way to you guys. It's found its way to me. Now it's finding its way to you guys. And now we're all having this really cool exchange with one another. Because the true question is here, what do we have to be afraid of? Starving to death? I mean, we're talking about worst case scenario here. We're talking about, like, if all this stuff is, we are in a premonition of a paradigm shift of, what are they talking? New World Order crap. New World Order. Who decides New World Order? Can't we decide New World Order? Who decides? What, we're the sheep that just get guided? No, we can decide New World Order. Oh my God, there's so many more of us than there are here. They're terrified of that. They're absolutely terrified. And then the more that we want to jump on the bandwagon of degrading people for no reason at all, and other than to just say, oh, well, I know something, and this is what I know, and I know that's true. And it's like, okay, what are you doing to better the world? What are you actually doing morning till night, to make yourself the best human being on this planet, to be up here in heart and spirit? You know what I mean? I am so sick of all this garbage conversation. Garbage conversation. As though that is what is like, what, we're all empty buckets that are so ridiculously bored that all we have is drama. And drama does not fulfill the soul. It does not fulfill the body. It doesn't fulfill the spirit. In fact, if there's a collapse of economy, we have the ability, we the people have the ability to rebuild it. We have the ability to rebuild it. Here I'm having this conversation because there's no reason for anxiety, right? There's no reason for any of this. And even if this is the future, can't we rebuild it? And can't we build it back better? Can't we build it? Why is it the people that have the money have all the power? And they could buy all the coolest stuff, They're OP, man. They're like, when you become OP in a game, like you play Elden Ring and you get all the way through that difficult game and then you're like OP because you get reborn with all the cool stuff and you just like swing the sword and like everybody's just mowing down the whole environment. It's just hilarious because you just like do this and everybody's like getting mowed down and it's so cool, but then it gets boring. It's like when you are not fulfilled and you have all the money in the world and you are not fulfilled in spirit and you're not fulfilled in your human form because you're not investing the money in making it a better world. You're investing the money in ensuring that the death cycle and the illusion is what imprisons the human race forevermore. And then you get to stay in your little pixelated, super small, tiny OP world where you're absolutely bored. But what makes you joyful is when you can watch people suffer because that's what a pathetic person you are. So you see how we have the power to inspire this? I really like how this balance ends up being this really cool star, you know, because truly there's always going to be like the top of the top of the top notch. And that's awesome because it's always going to inspire us to want to be up there. But truly, there's fewer of us down here doing nothing and more of us actually wanting to aspire to be the best. And that's what actually I think God was trying to show me the importance, because I kept showing you guys like the triangle. I was like, okay, God keeps showing me this triangle. He's like, this is what you mean. And I was like, well, no, I think this is actually the true shape. And then God's like, no. And I was like, oh my God, isn't that the world today? Like everything's spiraling out of control. And then I was like, oh my God, I could blend these two together. Wait, we gotta get this right. Life cycle. We could blend these two together, and then we could create an interdimensional energy that creates a balance of society, true balance. And then we start from scratch, from the heart. And so you guys can't deny that there is conversation and there's divine truth that this could be either the brink of collapse or the brink of 10,000 years of peace. So who's right? Do you believe that this could be the pinnacle moment where we souls get to be here sharing this lifetime together? We're all together. And this could be the moment where everything dies and is reborn into something absolutely phenomenally amazing. So why do we have to hold on to the fear that it's going to be the worst case scenario? It's just like I was telling you about my future self. Why do I have to believe that I am walking in the exact same shoes as her and that is going to be my inevitable future? No thanks. That isn't my inevitable future. I don't care how many times I come back here to live this life again, because the goal for some of us souls, we aren't giving up on helping this human race ascend out of this weird timeline, this weird point in time. I'm going to keep coming back and to make sure that we can circulate in the way that all of our hearts and all of the souls are wanting to be set free, so we can start doing new things on this planet. We're all starving to do new things on this planet. So you see, I'm having this conversation, and the whole goal of this conversation, again, is I'm full of anxiety. No, you're not. You're not full of anxiety. What happened is that you heard some stuff, and then when you hear that stuff and it amplifies, and then you have this sense that everything is going to collapse, and when things collapse is an inevitable hell, right? And then how are you going to cope with that hell? Because we're focusing on that it's going to be hell. Well, we put hell into the planet. You know, the planet digests the carbon dioxide and turns it into oxygen. So it's always the life cycle, you see? And you're part of this life cycle. Like, this is all a life cycle. So we don't have to feel anxiety about the life cycle, and we don't have to, if it collapses, well, probably good riddance with that old society, and now we can do this one. Now we, the people, can inspire this one. We can inspire this one. You ask your heart, what is your calling in the midst of all of this? We're all going to have a different calling in the midst of all of this. And your calling might just be to impact a few people that you're going to be able to impact in your life. And you're going to impact them by bringing them down or bringing them back up again. And if you are down, don't you want somebody to bring you back up? And you bring people up not by, you tell them the truth, okay? You tell them the truth. And if the truth is, you know what? I don't know either. And sometimes I'm scared too. But one thing that I do know is that we can't give up on something beautiful. Like, that's the flippin' truth. And nobody can argue with that. You know what I mean? So we're in this thing together, and we need to believe in each other. And I feel like that's the final message in the midst of all of this. I want to thank you guys for participating in this conversation with me, participating in this world with me. Thank you so very much. Don't be shy. If you like the video, help my channel grow. You can like it, share it, hit the notification bell so you'll be ready for when the next video posts. Thank you all so much, and I wish you all a very beautiful rest of your day.